Good morning. Today we are going to recall how to solve one-step equations. You want to treat the equal sign like a fence. So what you do to one side of the fence, you have to do to the other side of the fence. So on all of these problems, I'm going to draw a line down my equal sign so that you guys can see that I'm going to show my work on both sides of this equal sign. And the key here is showing the correct work. We're solving for x, or for the variable in each of these problems. There are a lot of you that in your head could say, what minus 7 is negative 30? Oh, it's negative 23. But you can't just write x equals negative 23 or negative 23 as an answer. You will miss the problem. We have to learn how to actually show the work on these easier problems that we can do in our head so that when they get harder, we can work through them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo addition or subtraction first. So if I look at number 1, I can see that you're subtracting 7 from x. So the opposite of subtracting 7 is adding 7. So I'm going to show that work on both sides of the equal sign. I'm going to cross out the numbers that equal 0. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. I'm going to bring down the x. I'm going to keep the equal sign, and then I'm going to use my head, not my calculator, to do negative 30 plus 7, which is negative 23. And then that's my final answer. On number 2, if we're solving for a, then we need to undo the divided by 2. So what we're going to do on both sides is we're going to multiply by 2. Now, what I saw in some of your work last night is that you guys are showing multiplication using an x. I don't want to see an x anymore when you're trying to multiply something. You either use parentheses or a dot. My problem number 1 had an x in it, and that x was a variable. It's not a times sign. So you have to get used to that. If I'm solving for a, then undoing divided by 2 would be multiplying by 2. So those 2's cancel, and you're left with a on the left side equals negative 10 times 2 is negative 20. And you can go back and check yourself. If you plugged in negative 20 for a and then divided it by 2, it would equal negative 10. On number 3, if you have a number and a letter side by side, that means they're being multiplied. So to undo multiplication, you're going to divide. Whenever you want to divide from here on out in math, you need to use a fraction bar. You need to divide by everything that's in front of the C, so that means you want to divide by a negative 3. But if you divide the left side of the equal sign by negative 3, then you have to divide the right side by negative 3. The negative 3's cancel because negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. C is still on the left side, and negative 15 divided by negative 3 is 5. So remember, you're going to undo addition or subtraction first, and second, you undo multiplication or division. All of our problems today are just one-step equations so that we can get used to showing the right work. A lot of you on these problems are going to try and do them in your head. I need to see your work. So on number 4, think about what you're going to do if you're solving for x. You're going to ask yourself, what's the opposite of plus 10? And it's minus 10. But I want you to show that minus 10 on both sides. Today, these problems are a little easier, but I have to get you used to showing the right work. Cross out the 2 numbers that are equal to 0, and you get x equals negative 35. Number 5 is a little tricky because this minus sign is outside the fraction. So if you look at it, it appears that you're dividing by 3. Well, if you're dividing by 3 to undo division, you multiply by 3. The reason why you multiply by 3 is so this 3 cancels with the 3 on the bottom, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. We don't usually write the number 1. But now we're left with a negative y, not just y. So that negative is still there. And we do negative 19 times 3, which is negative 57. Now in this problem, we need to solve for y. So you guys need to realize that there is an understood 1 in front of that y. So to simplify, we need to now realize the negative 1 is right beside the letter y. So that means multiplication is going on. So to undo multiplication, we're going to divide by negative 1 so that those cancel. And then our final answer is y equals positive 57. So we had 2 steps to get to that answer. But a negative divided by a negative is a positive. On problem number 6, 2 is right beside the y, so the 2 and the y are being multiplied. So we're going to undo multiplication with division. So we're going to divide both sides by 2, and we're left with y equals negative 9. So I need you guys to go into Canvas, and I need you to do Books Never Written and Moving Words worksheet, and then submit those to Canvas.